And now, here's another quick model making tip from Thunder Mesa Studio. Today I want to talk to you about something that comes up in almost every single structure build, and that is keeping things square. Keeping the corners on structures that you build nice and square is obviously very important, and of course it makes building them easier. So I want to show you a few of the tools and techniques that I like to use to accomplish that. Now first up, we've got one of these magnetic gluing jigs. These are sold by Micromark and others. Walthers, I think, has them too. And what it consists of is a metal tray and some magnets with metal plates on each side, and you use the presumably square corners to line up your work and hold them in place. You can use these magnets as clamps, you see, and hold the work in place like that while the glue sets up and dries in order to assure square corners. That's the theory anyway. And, you know, I've tried really hard to love this thing, but I'll be honest, it is not one of my favorite tools, and I don't use it very often at all. Some people love them. Some people swear by them. But for me, the magnets are actually, they're too strong. They hold a little bit too tightly. And if you're doing delicate work in the corners, trying to line up some parts just right perfectly, having to pick these up and move them around or slide them around, it's really easy for the work to shift in the jig while you're doing that, and for mistakes to creep in, which is why I'm not a huge fan of these magnetic trays. But I will show you a tool that I think is absolutely essential, and I think every modeler should have in their toolkit, and that is a machinist square like this one. This one's just plain. You can get them with inches or millimeters or you know, thousandths of an inch on there if you like. But this is a plain one. It's 5 by 3 inches. And I use this all the time for ensuring that I'm getting straight cuts at right angles. And I can also use it as an impromptu gluing jig, which I'll show you in just a second, along with these guys. Now, if you're a machinist at all, you're probably very familiar with these. These are called 1, 2, 3 blocks because they are 1 inch this way, 3 inches this way, and 2 inches this way. And they have these holes all drilled in them, and you can set things up. Some of them are threaded, so you can clamp stuff. Machinists use these all the time. You can get them that are ground to very, very high tolerances, for very fine work, if you're working in machining and metal and stuff like that. But for model railroad use, probably the cheapest pair you can pick up are fine, because the tolerances in what we're doing here in model making are really not that precise. They don't need to be anyway. I mean, they can be if you want to, but they don't need to be. So I'm going to show you how I combine 1, 2, 3 blocks with a machinist square for an impromptu jig to make sure corners are dead on square when I'm gluing them up. Now sometimes when a high level of precision is not required, you might have seen me lining things up with the marks on my cutting mat here, and that's perfectly legitimate. You can do that. But if you want more precise corners, let me show you a little trick I learned. Take your machinist square like that, and put some glue on the edge of this foam core. Slide that one in there, and then bring that one straight in like that. Now imagine these are the walls of a model kit or structure you want to build. Now you could just take your 1, 2, 3 block and move it into the corner just like that. Press, and you're going to get a nice square corner. Easy peasy. After the glue's had a chance to dry, let's see how we did here. Not bad at all. Now say you want to make a nice square corner with a couple of scale pieces of lumber. Well, you can't really use the square because, you know, it's just going to slide right underneath there. But you can use your 1, 2, 3 blocks. Put one like that. Set the other one up like that. Remember, these are ground to a very high tolerance, so you can rest assured these are square enough for government work. And then, of course, you can always check it with your machinist square. And then you can use the blocks as a handy gluing jig for strip wood. Put that up in the corner there, push that in, and hold it back in the corner like that. You're going to get a nice square joint. By the way, your square is very handy also for making square cuts on sheet stock. I'm going to use some film core here again, because it's not much point in trying to glue things square if they're not cut square to begin with. Another tool I really like for getting square cuts in strip wood is this mini miter box. And this razor saw with replaceable blades. These look like straight razor blades, but they actually have tiny little teeth in them. I believe this is a Japanese design. We just drop that into our miter box. You're going to get nice square cuts that way. Much better than trying to freehand it. And that's about all there is to it. Knowing how to put things together with square corners and having the proper tools to do it, knowing how to use them, is essential for good model making. Thank you so much for watching this quick tip video. If you enjoy this kind of thing, don't forget to hit like and subscribe down below. You can also see the builds and projects and model kits and artwork and things happening over on my website. That's thundermesa.studio, or follow along on Instagram at thunder.mesa. You can also become a patron of this channel like these nice folks did over at patreon.com/thundermesa. Until next time, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Keep moving forward. Adios for now.